Yeah, you really disappointed me. And I think that is what philosophers maybe do, because I was expecting attack on what others have said here so far. But it seems to be that we have so much in common that it's really embarrassing, you know, fighting for the honor of the name by not naming that's Lyotard. There's so much in common here. And what you gave in all the classes is always Heidegger's aletheia, the interplay of revealing and concealing, etc. But so we have now to work hard to find the distinction. What have you said? What is a truth with what is new for us? The truth we need now from you, or we try to have to find, is new for us. Also take the Heidegger. Doesn't it sound like Heidegger? So what is not Heidegger here? What has he done Heidegger couldn't do? And for me, I know Heidegger a bit, you know, was certainly that you went into this process of how this revealing and concealing is really working as a path, not just something which is a play in front of us, but something we live in our lives and which has a very singular, subjective, personal moment to it. That is what Heidegger's revealing, concealing is at least not saying, you know, maybe containing. That is certainly the case. But this would be kind of interpretation. That is what would be one possibility. The other question is to ask you a difficult question. As you said, let me start today with my question first, then you get the floor. You said it is evil. You called it evil, this forcing, this tendency in our investigation, in our thinking to perfection, to complete, to find all words. You call it evil. And I would agree with you, but I would ask myself, what makes us evil? What is it in us which cannot stop us for enforcing? That we know it's wrong and we just do it anyway. Is this, you know, I don't believe in any judgment here. So I believe if something so strong is in us, it has also a great truth to it. So evil is actually maybe not evil. So evil is something we could not live without. Our life would be such a boring thing without this perfection, this forcing, this challenging of the unknown to say, I want to have a name again. And that all philosophers, and then even said, okay, if it's evil, then it's evil, but it's what I want.
Yes.
But how come?
But it's a question, it is a question of the disproportion, the intrinsic disproportion between the truth and the subject of the truth. There is a disproportion. The disproportion between finite and infinite, finally. There is something infinite in the generic construction of the truth, and there is always something finite in the subjective choice. So it's true that there is something in truth which is bigger than the subject of the truth. So when we are in anticipation, when we are in the necessity of forcing some bits of knowledge from the point of view of the newness of the truth, it's always a possibility, a temptation, to identify our subjectivity to the truth itself, to something which is infinite in the truth. And so it's a temptation of a complete forcing. No forcing a bit of knowledge, but forcing a total knowledge, something like that. And there is so simple explanation to that sort of movement. And you can say, so it's all right. forcing all the field of elements and so on. But my thesis is that is real disaster, destruction of the condition of truth itself, because it's destruction of the real point of the field. So it's not a moral appreciation, the question of moral appreciation. It's a question of real destruction of a point of real, which is finally the point of real of the truth in itself. So the necessity of a sort of caution, of measure, and so on, is also a question of the continuation, of the possible continuation of the construction of truth. So the disaster, the destruction, is a possible consequence of the truth, but that sort of consequence is the destruction of truth by what? By truth. So truth is always the possibility of its proper destruction.